Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is February 23rd, 2025, and a VAR conversation between the referees at Las Palmas during that Eddie Garcia handball has been leaked. Also, Ferran Torres has become the super sub given his stats, and I'm going to review those numbers with you. And finally, Barcelona's newest signing has impressed during his debut. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and we'll begin this video with the news that the VAR conversation from yesterday's match has been released. Now the VAR conversation I'm talking about was of course that controversial play, which shouldn't have been a controversial play, where there was a clear handball by Eddie Garcia in the box, but prior to that there was a clear offside by Las Palmas player, and then the Palmas player who shot the ball also controlled the ball with his handball. So there's an offside, then a handball, then Eddie Garcia's handball, but for some reason the referees decided to go and check it in the VAR even though it was an offside. This should have never been checked. It should have been just move on, offside, let's go. But now the VAR tapes have been released, which detail what happened exactly between both referees communicating together. Now, Del Cerro, who you see his name on the first line, is the guy who was in the VAR. Of course, it's Del Cerro Grande, and Cordero Vega was the referee on the field. So Del Cerro told Cordero Vega, I'm going to recommend a review so that you can assess a possible penalty. And beforehand, there's an offside situation, okay? Okay, so there's an offside situation. Why the hell are we reviewing this? But anyways, now from Del Cerro to the operator, to the guy who controls the computers. The reverse angle, the other reverse angle, also clearly shows that the hand is extended. Now Del Cerro tells the referee on the field, Cordero Vega, you're going to see that there's a handball in a shot on goal and that the hand is extended. And then I'll show you the offside as well so you can assess it. Again, why the fuck are we looking at the handball if there's an offside before it? Anyways, now Cordero Vega, the referee on the field, says, I'm in front of the monitor, Carlos. Please play the action at 20% speed. Now Del Cerro tells the referee, slower. The arm, even though it's being used for support, is extended, occupies space, and it's a shot on goal. But I also want you to assess that there's a prior offside position. Again, then why the fuck are we reviewing this if there's an offside position? Anyways, Cordero Vega says, stop at the point of contact. And this is when they freeze that shot that shows the ball hitting Eddie Garcia's arm. And then Del Cerro says, remember that there's a prior offside situation. Now Del Cerro says, when Sandro takes the shot, I'll leave it with you. There's a touch with the back that I'll show you from another camera's angle, so you can see that it indeed touches his back. It touches his back. He's talking about Las Palmas player because it touches the Palmas player's back, and then it becomes an offside. And now I'll rewind to the frame 16 so you can see it again. Now the referee on the field, Cordero Vega, says, okay, perfect. Yes, back touch. And then Del Cerro says, do you see the offside position? We'll send the lines later, okay? The offside position is prior to the penalty. So again, why the hell was this checked? Why the hell was the match stopped for like 8 minutes and the referee had to go all the way to the screen if the entire time they knew that there's an offside? Offsides are not reviewable by the referee on the field. An offside is pretty easy. The computer draws the line. You're either offside or you're not. There's no interpretation involved. It's either yes or no question. And they knew there was an offside, so that's it. Move on. Call the offside. No penalty. You don't have to check anything, but yet they decided to check it. Why? The referees explained why, and they said because we wanted for the people to know that we didn't ignore it, that they saw it and they reviewed it. So in other words, this was all as a result of what's going on with refereeing in La Liga, with Real Madrid TV's tapes, with Real Madrid crying about corruption and blah, 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 because now the referees are so scared from scrutiny that they have to review plays that are A, non-reviewable, and B, clear as day. This was an offside that was clear as day, but the referees have been under so much pressure thanks to the crying club Real Madrid that now they are even reviewing plays that should not be reviewed, and they are clear as day. So welcome to Real Madrid's La Liga, but yet that crying club is still going to tell you that they're the ones who are prejudiced by referee. Anyways, on to the next bit of news, because since we are talking about yesterday's match, ladies and gentlemen, Wojciech Szczesny had yet another clean sheet during last match. That is 11 victories for the Polish goalkeeper. It means that he has participated in 11 matches in which those 11 matches Barcelona won. And out of those 11 matches, he kept 6 clean sheets. But that's not all. That's not all. We always knew how Szczesny was great with his stops. We knew that from his previous years as a professional goalkeeper, but we always doubted his passing abilities. As we saw, he was a little bit off when he would come off his line during the beginning of his career at Barcelona. And while it seems that that's improving, because during yesterday's match, Wojciech Szczesny attempted 26 passes and completed all those 26 passes. So it looks like Szczesny is improving with his feet. Of course, again, we always know how great he is with his stopping power. Not so much with his feet, but it looks like he's improving that. So Wojciech Szczesny is proving Hansi Flick right for betting on him. Now, speaking of players performing well during yesterday's match, we do have to talk about Ferran Torres, or Fergo, as I previously called him, because he's becoming a lethal substitute. Now, as you know, Ferran Torres scored Barcelona's second goal yesterday against Las Palmas, and with that, he has officially scored 11 goals in La Liga, which is the same amount of goals that he scored during last season. Now, what's the difference? The difference is that last season it took him 42 matches to score 11 goals. This season, it's only taken him 27 matches to score 11 goals, almost half the amount of matches to score the same amount of goals, which means that Ferran Torres is the third highest scorer on Barcelona's roster behind Lewandowski and Coutinho. By the way, speaking of Coutinho had 10 goals last season. People try to convince me that he was the greatest winger in Europe for scoring 10 goals, and Ferran had 11. Anyways. Getting back to Ferran Torres. So, Ferran Torres, again, 11 goals this season. 6 out of those 11 goals have come off the bench. When he has come off the bench, which makes him only the third player with the most goals off the bench, only behind Angel Correa and Alexander Sorloth, which both would each have 7. So only 1 goal more than Ferran Torres, which means that Ferran Torres has become the super sub, scoring 1 goal every 87 minutes. That's 1 goal per match for the Shark. All right, now on to another player who also impressed yesterday, but now we have to talk about a statistic that is not necessarily impressive, but more scary, and that's Lamine Yamal, who, of course, he shared this picture on his social media account yesterday on Instagram showing a bloody foot, or his socks soaked in blood. And while the statistic is that Lamine Yamal has suffered 64 fouls against him during this season, that's almost 2 fouls per match. 48 out of those fouls have come in La Liga, making him the 4th highest player with the most fouls against him in the Spanish league. And of course, this number could be much higher, because we've seen how referees have usually allowed Lamine Yamal to be fouled time and time again without any repercussions for the players fouling him, which is, of course, a scary number. And I hope that La Liga can finally start protecting Lamine Yamal, because it's not okay that a 17-year-old is constantly getting beaten up and down the field many times without those fouls not being called at all. Now, speaking of young, promising players, since we just mentioned Lamine Yamal, but Barcelona's newest signing, Hafiz Gariba, has completely impressed everyone during his debut with Juvenil B. Now, Hafiz Gariba is a player that we talked about in our previous video. He's an 18-year-old Ghanaian defender who Barcelona signed for 3 years. He's a defender with lots of physical strength, also known for his defensive anticipation, and his imposing physique allows him to excel in intercepting passes and recovering ground when tracking back. And he's someone who was formed in Escuela Marcet, which, if I'm not mistaken, is located in Barcelona. And again, Barcelona signed them just recently during this winter transfer market. And well, the 18-year-old has officially debuted with a Juvenil B, where everyone was completely impressed with his performance. Not only impressed with how physically developed he is, but also how tactically developed the player is. and everyone was left completely impressed. They knew already how good he was, but then seeing him up close left everyone in shock and awe. So there's no doubt that even though Hafiz Gariba is right now with the Juvenil B, that there's no doubt he's going to be promoted to the Juvenil A pretty soon. And who knows, we might see him on the first team maybe next season. So definitely stay tuned and remember the name Hafiz Gariba, because we could be talking about him in the future. All right, let's end this video since we talking about referees, since we started with this video talking about referees. But let's end this video talking about Jose Luis Munuera Montero, because the referee who was suspended for this past weekend because he dared to give a red card to Bellingham, someone who has been threatened with death, someone who has been investigated by the Royal Spanish Football Federation, again, for daring to make the right call against Real Madrid, can now be the referee between Barcelona and Atletico de Madrid on Tuesday for the semifinal, or the first leg of the semifinals of that Copa del Rey. So if he is truly chosen for that match, be aware, because Real Madrid have sent a very clear message to Munuera: you either get in line or you're going to suffer some serious repercussions. So be aware, ladies and gentlemen, if he does end up being the referee for the Barcelona match. All right, that is all for this video. I did upload another video before this one, so if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.